take a seat. There's a tale that's so sweet. Magic worlds and dreams take flight. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Doc will entertain you with stories old and stories new. Adventures waiting, just unwind. It's story time.
Well, hey there, friend. Welcome back to Laneau Storytime. Now, before we dive in, go on and give that like button a little love. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this story with someone who appreciates a good old-fashioned. And if you've got thoughts, theories, or your own sippy cup disaster, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, even the ones from my evil twin. Now, speaking of him, today's tale comes not from me, but from my fictional evil twin brother, Laneau. How do I know he's evil? Well, first off, he's got a goatee, dresses like a stage magician, and talks with a British accent. Yeah, a British accent. Because if you've seen any movie ever, you know, when a fella sounds classy, you better check your wallet. Dread's slick. He's shady, and trouble follows him like a shadow in a moonshine fog. So sit back, relax, and let Dread tell you the tale of how poor Will, on his honeymoon, no less, ended up in a wrestling match with a man nicknamed Kiss My Ass Hall. Now, let's get to the story.
Will and the wrestling match. Hello, I'm Dread, and this is one of my favorite stories because it's not about me getting into trouble. No, this time, it's Will. While Will and Tiffany were honeymooning in Orlando, I happened to spot him in a high-end store, eyeing a rather expensive set of silverware. His face twisted in pain every time he glanced at the price tag. Naturally, I approached him. When he saw me, his expression soured. "Dread, stay away from me," he said flatly. "I almost got arrested last time I saw you." "Will, it was all good fun," I assured him. "What are you doing here?" "Tiffany wants a nice set of silverware. It's pricey, but I want to get it for her. Just can't swing it right now." I smiled. "My boy, you're in luck. I happen to be a wrestling promoter, and wouldn't you know it, I need a skinny guy for a match this weekend." "Wrestling?" Will blinked. "I don't know. I don't want anyone knowing it's me, and I really don't want to get hurt." "You'll be wearing a mask. No one will know. And don't worry, you're not really wrestling. Cheesecake Washington is looking for his farewell match before retirement. All you need to do is give him a little effort before letting him pin you. So let him win, and I get enough money to buy Tiffany the silverware." "Exactly," I said, grinning. "We just need to come up with a ring name. How does Luigi the Juice Swanson sound?" Will nodded. "That works. When do I show up?" "No time like the present. Come with me, we'll get you measured for gear and set up with ringside seats for tonight's event. Just before your match, we'll come fetch you." We headed to the arena's locker room. I fitted Will in blue and gold wrestling gear, pants, boots, and a mask that only revealed his mouth. "I look like a superhero, Mr. Dread," he said, practically bouncing. That evening, Will and Tiffany sat ringside. Oddly enough, Tiffany seemed excited for the match, which surprised Will. 20 minutes before go time, an usher whisked him away to get dressed. The ring announcer's voice echoed through the speakers. "Now entering the ring, Luigi the Juice Swanson." Will entered the ring nervously. I stood at the center with the referee, and I could feel Tiffany's eyes on me, intense, suspicious. "Ladies and gentlemen," I announced, "Cheesecake Washington has unfortunately retired earlier this week. But fear not. I promised you a match. In this corner, Luigi the Juice Swanson. And in the other, making his way to the ring now, BG Brian Kiss My Ass HLL." Big Brian entered to a raw 6'8" solid muscle with a denim-clad beer gut and cowboy boots. Will's eyes widened like dinner plates. "What's going on, Dread?" he hissed. "Relax, Will. The deal's the same. Just don't let him break you in half." I stepped out of the ring, the bell rang, and chaos began. Will started running circles around Big Brian, who simply watched, amused. Then Will launched a dropkick straight into Brian's belly. Brian laughed. Then things turned. Big Brian lifted Will and slammed him to the mat. Then came the arm bar. Will had no fight left. Brian grinned and unmasked him. From the ringside, Tiffany gasped. She jumped the barricade and stormed up to me. "Did you tell Will he'd be fighting someone twice his size?" she snapped. "No, but look, Will's silly and naive, but he's not a dummy." She shoved me aside. I climbed the ring apron and started shouting at the ref. Meanwhile, I protested her presence to the official, but he wouldn't turn around. That's when Tiffany grabbed a steel chair. She rolled into the ring and crack. Dash hit Big Brian square in the head. Down he went. She dragged Will on top of him for the pin, jumped out of the ring, and vanished. The referee turned around, saw the pin close quote, and counted. 1, 2, 3. The bell rang. The crowd went wild. Will had won. Back in the locker room, I handed Will his agreed upon pay and the winner's bonus. Tiffany was still staring daggers at me. "You ever pull something like that again," she said, "you'll find yourself in a figure 4 before you can blink." "What?" I blinked. I was women's champion in the Jacksonville circuit for 2 years. I trained in Columbia before I met Will. My plan was the big leagues, but life had other ideas. She turned to Will and smiled. He's not a wrestling fan, but he'd do anything for me, even wrestle a man who could break him in half. That's why I stepped inches. The two walked off, silverware money in hand, honeymoon intact. And me? I made a note to be just a bit more careful next time I tried to rope Will into a scheme.
And that, my friends, is how Will went from honeymoon in Orlando to getting body slammed by a man in cowboy boots named Big Brian Kiss My Ass Hall. Now let this be a lesson. Never trust a man with a goatee and a British accent who offers you a wrestling contract in a shopping plaza, especially if he's your fictional evil twin. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who loves a good mess. And I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, theories, or favorite moments down in there. And hey, if you got a wild story of your own, send it on over to j.laneau.stories@gmail.com. I just might tell it right here on the channel. But don't go nowhere, because up next, just for y'all, we've got the official music video for this story. So grab your headphones and maybe hold on to your sippy cups. Until next time, take care of yourself. And Will, shut up.
Will was walking through a honeymoon haze, silverware dreams in a spendy place. Saw Dread grinning by the cutlery case, said, "Boy, I've got a gig that'll win this race. A ring, a match, a mask disguise. You won't get hurt and you'll win the prize." But the bell rang loud and the crowd stood tall when Big Brian Hall strutted down the hall. Now he's Luigi, the juice flying through the air, dropkick dreams and terrified stares. Tiffany shouting, "What in the who?" Steel chair in hand like a bride should do. Ref hits the mat, 1, 2, 3. That's the end of this wrestling spree. From silverware stress to a body slam, it's the mask, the match, and the steel chair slam. Will ran circles like a spandex deer. Brian Fred's in the corner, counting regrets. Will's limp and proud with no debts. And Tiffany, oh, she's a star, wrestling queen with a honeymoon heart. So raise that cup, raise that cheer for the groom who fought out of fear, the bride who smacked the legend cold. That's true love, that's solid gold. Ref hits the